Hi, I'm Tracy Eaton and welcome to this week's edition of Face Facts. Now, as you can see, I've got a friend here and I'd like you all to meet Aldwyn Altuney. Aldwyn, will you just explain to everyone where you're from and what it is that you do?
Thank you, Tracy. I'm from the Gold Coast, actually born in Sydney, travelled all over Australia working in the media for about 20 years. I have a business called AA Expose Media, and what I'm moving into a lot more now is doing talks on how to gain free positive media exposure.
And Aldwyn is an absolute expert in this field. You really do need to check out her stuff. Now, the reason I've got Aldwyn here is to share with you a couple of Aldwyn's facial structures. You've heard me talk about the Facemappers and about facial structures, and for you to find out how Aldwyn's facial structures have affected her and how she can use them as a real strength in her life. Now, Aldwyn, I notice that you've been looking at me, and if you continue doing that, if you have a look at the bump on Aldwyn's nose, if you have a look there, she's one of those people where the bridge of the nose is bumpy, that hawk shape, rather than the scoopy nose. Now, what this means is that you're the type of person who really appreciates being valued for all the time and effort and valuable resources and skills that you can impart with people. So how is that showing up for you at the moment?
Well, how it's showed up for me in the past is as a journalist, I've had the great fortune to interview great stars like Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Cyndi Lauper, which has been fantastic, and having the media exposure where I've actually had a byline in the paper or in magazines, it's showed up that way. I've received credibility that way. And through clients who I've helped with PR work that have had great results for themselves, I get a lot of thank yous and a lot of word of mouth business through that.
And Aldwyn, you were talking before about sort of wanting to work more and more with a group rather than one-on-one, and you're moving into that direction, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, one of the things with people with a bumpy nose is that working with groups is something that they naturally do because they want to be able to leverage their time and their money and their efforts. So how is that, knowing that, going to help you and reduce the level of stress in your life?
Well, for 8 years now, I've had a business where I've primarily worked on my own. And really, I really get with the visions that I really want for the world. I'm very passionate about inspiring people to live their passions and about animals and the environment and about people taking action in those areas. And on my own, I'm so clear I cannot make the difference in the world that I want to make, which is why I'm branching out now to do media talks. I did media talks 5 years ago and stopped doing it. It's funny, life goes in cycles, and really it's time now to come back to me. It is a big year of growth now, 2010. We've had 2 blue moons also in January and March, so 2 full moons in both those months, and it's a big time of transition, I think, for a lot of people. So it's very exciting now to realise that my focus now is on positive media. I think, like a lot of others, I've bought into that all media is negative, or there's so much negative media out there. However, I've started to notice more and more there is a shift. There's a shift happening in people wanting to see more positive media, and I'm noticing more and more that papers, magazines, online media, there's a lot more positive media exposure out there, and I want to help people get their messages out there and have the ripple effect out there in the world, making a big difference that way. So leverage, it's all about leverage, and as a sole operator in business, you just cannot have the same effect that you can with a great team, and then the ripple effect of everyone you can help through PR with the team.
Great. So for Aldwyn, it's about being able to leverage her time, her resources, your efforts and your money to be able to make a bigger difference, to create more value, and also in return to I guess bring value and appreciation to you as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And something I started actually in 2007 is Animal Action Day. It's a day of awareness, appreciation, respect for all animals, which is a charity event. And the last few years, I've spent 3 to 6 months of my year on that event, raising money for charity, raising awareness about animal and environmental causes. And I cannot literally keep doing that. I really this year need a good team to really run that event. I've got interest in other parts of Australia and other parts of the world to run the event. So now it's a matter of just catapulting that idea out there and having that as a worldwide annual event, which is a huge vision of mine and something I'm very proud of.
Fantastic, and congratulations.
Yeah.
So anyone out there with a bumpy nose, leverage your time, your efforts, your resources and your money to make a big difference. Now, just one other thing, because we were talking before, you said sometimes when you were working one-on-one, you then had to go and put all the effort into yourself, and it was wasting time and all that sort of thing. Well, we also talked about Aldwyn's full bottom lip, and you can see there she's got this luscious bottom lip, which is all about that spontaneous generosity. So you do just give spontaneously, don't you?
I do. I'm a big giver, and I do also get very carried away in the moment with people, which, you know, a 1 hour meeting can easily turn into a 3 or 4 hour meeting. And then what I find myself doing is you know, catching up, spending my time later in the night till, you know, sometimes till 3 a.m. You know, 4 a.m. catching up on work, and time just kind of just goes, you know, and that's not really, you know, a great idea if you want to balance lifestyles. Passionate as I am about what I do, it really is about having quality time for me and being really decisive and particular with where I put my time and how I put my time, and having the balance in giving and receiving.
Absolutely. And Aldwyn's been talking about that since I shared about the bottom lip with you. That if you've got that bottom lip, you really need to ensure that at the end of the day after giving, that you do have that time left for yourself, which you've just expressed is something you really need to do. To be judicious with your giving, because you've got to be able to give to yourself, to be able to create those results for other people as well.
Yeah, and to make a difference for animals in the environment. You know, if I had an unlimited amount of money, I would be buying up land all over the world to have conservation parks for animals. You know, if I had an endless amount of money. However, if I don't help myself, I can never realise those visions.
Absolutely, absolutely. So knowing these things about yourself, Aldwyn, how is that something that you can put into everyday use for yourself?
Well, you know, I had no idea that a bump in the nose and the full bottom lips meant this. However, you know, I've been living these ways for quite a while, so now that I'm actually conscious of it, I can actually now have that in the front of my mind when I do set up meetings with people, and be very strict about my time with people, and about how I value myself and how I value others, and about the contribution I'm going to make. So it's going to make me a lot more organised and a lot more decisive around how I spend my time.
Fantastic. There you have it, everybody. You can use it to honour yourself, as we've been talking about, honour and value other people and the causes which are important to you, and make such a difference to your life. So thanks so much, Aldwyn.
Thank you so much.
And until next week, enjoy and have a look at your own face. Bye for now.
See you.